Hello guys and welcome back to another video. My name is Pips, co-founder of PropsMadness and Pro Sports Better. We have a smaller 3-game slate. The last slate before the All-Star break. We're gonna be off for 6 to 7 days for the All-Star break and we are back later next week. Make sure to subscribe and push your notification on so you know when I am back. We had 3 bets last night and beat got ruled out, so we ended up with 2 official bets. One won, one loss, so nothing really happened there. But we cooked on our leans on the bets that were not widely available, so that's the only reason I didn't make them official. I think they went like 6-2, which is great. Hope you guys got it. Pays to have a ton of sports books, ton of outs to be able to capitalize on those. And without further ado, let's dive into today's slate. We have 3 games. First game is Bucks against the Thunder, Blazers against the Jazz, and Mavs against the Lakers. Plenty of guys on back-to-back, plenty of players will be out, so it's really tough to predict who is going to play or not. But I think we have a decent bet. I'll go into that a bit later. But before that, let's make sure to hit that like button. First game, Bucks. I don't know. I could see Chet Holmgren being out. Isaiah Hartenstein as well out, because if I take a look at the last couple of back-to-back games, they played back-to-back against the Spurs. In that game, Chet Holmgren was out, and Isaiah Hartenstein didn't play a back-to-back game since that Wolves game earlier. So yeah, could be out on back-to-back, and Chet Holmgren could be out. So then we could end up having the game without Shea. J-Dub will be out 99%. He pulled the hamstring late into the last night game. So 99% he is out. Chet Holmgren could be out. I'm like 50-50 on him, maybe on like 70% that he will sit. AJ Mitchell out. So this one is like entire starting lineup of the OKC will be out for this game. And that opens up some opportunities, guys. In the first one, for me, is on Cason Wallace, and it's on the assist. Looking at the last couple of games, we can see that he covered the assist line in 4 out of the last 5 games, averaging 4.6 a game, also averaging 8.5 potential assists a game, and also averaging 42 passes made a game. Against Orlando, he had 32 passes, but that game included Shea playing. Next 4 games without Shea, he ended up having 46, 47, 43. And this game, J-Dub returned. The last game, J-Dub played. So now no J-Dub and no Shea. In those games, without J-Dub and Shea, he had 4 and 5 assists on 12 and 8 potential assists. Just big number. So my first official bet is Cason Wallace over 3.5 assists, minus 125, widely available. I'll track this as FanDuel minus 122, but we also have DraftKings minus 120. So great spot for Cason Wallace. I'm not going off these 2 games, but if you take a look at passes made in these 2 games, 46 and 47, so always over 40. And let's now take a look over the last couple of seasons when he got passes above, let's say 38, I would say. When we look at the games when he had 30 plus passes made, he's averaging 3.5 assists. If we move it to like 35 passes made, it moves to 3.9 assists. And if we go to like 38 passes made, it goes up to 4.2 assists per game. And hit rate in 8 out of 11 games. Great hit rate. But we can see that most of these games were against the teams that don't allow assists, like the Wolves. He had 1 assist on 9 potential assists, so he was supposed to cover in that one. Then Pistons don't allow any assists. He had 6 potential assists. And then against the Memphis, 1 assist on 11 potential assists. So he was actually supposed to cover in every single one of these games. As we can see on this kind of passes made volume, he's averaging 9.4 potential assists per game. Absolutely amazing potential assist numbers. And when we exclude like top 5, top 6 teams in assist allowed, we can see that he covered then in 6 out of 7 games, averaging 5 assists per game. And he's now facing a team that allows above average assist, which is Bucks. So definitely a great spot. I love this bet on this smaller slate. Also, additionally, when we take a look at this season assist, we can see top four guys in assist made on the team. Shea out, J Dub second, probably out. AJ Mitchell third on the team in assist, probably out. Hartenstein fourth on the team in assist, probably out. So yeah, he could end up being like the lead guy after all of these guys are out. So definitely loving the spot for the case on Wallace. Earlier this season, he played with Shea against the Bucks and had 2 assists. But as I said, this is completely different environment. And looking at the last 15 games, we can see that Bucks are not only 19th in the defensive rate, they are allowing 6th most over the last 15 games, and they are 5th worst defensive rating, and they're allowing the most to his dominant assist zone. So definitely makes it even better. So our first official bet, Cason Wallace over 3.5 assists. From this game, on the other side, we have Ken Thomas, first game for the team. And then look at these guys. He scored 34 points in 25 minutes. Absolutely amazing game from Ken Thomas. But it took Giannis being out, Rollins being out, Gary Trent Jr. being out. So yeah, I don't know. It's not even widely available to bet on this. Only some soft books have it. So yeah. Don't like anything else. I don't know who is even playing for this team. So yeah, we all got one bet from this game. That's great. Next game we have Blazers against Utah Jazz. Guys, this is amazing, but I could see Jazz resting all of the players. Kejonte being out, Kessler being out, that's official. No, still no reports on Lauri Markkanen, but it's a back-to-back. They'll probably rest and they must lose because they won 2 in a row. Team that's tanking and trying to lose on purpose just won 2 in a row. So they'll probably dive deeper into the tank and rest everyone. So I could see Lauri Markkanen being out, Kejonte being out, Jaren Jackson Jr. being out, Kessler being out, and Nurkic being out. And then the team is left in the hands of Bryce Sensabaugh, but still 18 and a half. Without Lauri Markkanen and Kejonte, he's averaging 14 points a game. So yeah, even if we look at the games when he got 24 or more minutes, it's just 17.5. So I think this line is pretty sharp. He's barely 18 and a half. I honestly lean under this line, but I can't bet it because everyone will be out. So no Kejonte, no Lauri. Yeah, he didn't play any game without both of these guys, which is funny. Collier last game didn't close, so 11.5 assists. That's a huge line. Can you imagine Isaiah Collier having 11.5 assists? That's the highest line in the entire league. So very interesting one. Kyle Filipowski, without Lauri, without Kejonte, had 1 game, had 4 points, 6 rebounds, so stayed under there every single line. So yeah, I honestly don't have any bets for this side. On the other side, back-to-back, Avdia could be out. We have already Shadon Sharp out to doubtful. Danny Avdia could be out. He was out for like 10 days and then returned last night, and now it's a back-to-back game. That's usually when guys sit and rest. So if Avdia is out, if Shadon Sharp is out, maybe a spot for Jeremy Grant to cook. Last time he played them, he scored 18 points off the bench in 25 minutes with the entire team healthy. So then maybe this is a spot to bet on Jeremy Grant. Yeah, so without Sharp, usage doesn't change much. Without Avdia and without Sharp, 1 game only against the Memphis. He had 27%, used 17 field goal attempts, he scored big 29 points. He shot amazing from the 3-point line. So if he went like 4 from 10 from 3-point line, he would end up scoring 23 points, which is, yeah. And his line closed at 20 and a half. Also, I can see Scoot Henderson being out on back-to-back. So this could be a team without first leading scorer, second leading scorer, and the fifth leading scorer. So Grant and Drew Holiday could take up some huge volume. Let's look at the games without Sharp or Drew Holiday, averaging 19 points a game. Without Avdia, he's averaging 15 points a game per 23 minutes. He was heavily limited and he returned from the injury. So 22 plus minutes without Avdia. He's at 18 points a game. Without both of these guys, he's had 21 points against the Memphis, which is definitely an interesting spot. He also played the Jazz earlier this season and scored 27 points with Avdia playing, with Shadon Sharp playing. So guys, maybe we have another bet. Yeah, I didn't think I'll have this bet, but I just found it on the show using PropsMadness. Like, yeah, an amazing spot with the amazing tool. So our second official bet will be actually Drew Holiday over 14.5 points, minus 122 to minus 125, wildly available. So we have two bets on this small slate. This actually makes sense. If Avdia is out, he needs to take a huge volume. Because no Shadon Sharp, no Avdia means he is like he needs to score a ton of points for this team. But if Avdia is somehow in, then Drew Holiday doesn't need to create a lot, so he'll play more off the ball, and that's actually great for playing against the Jazz because they allow the most catch and shoot and the most above the break threes, and they don't allow a ton to pick and roll ball handlers. So yeah, I could definitely see it. I could definitely see that working either way, with Avdia in or with Avdia out. But Shadon Sharp being out is definitely helpful. Second official bet, Drew Holiday over 14.5 points. Another lean for this is on Toumani Camara plus money for threes. As we already know, we bet this so many times this season. When he gets 30 to 40 minutes this season, he's over this line in 59% of the games. But he has a huge correlation with teams allowing threes. When they just exclude top 5, it goes up to 65%. And if you go a bit further and look at the like spot up allowed and exclude like top 10 teams, doesn't change much. But if you go like to 16 to 30, then it's actually goes up to 67% win rate and 3 threes averaged per game. Head to head, he covered in one game, didn't cover his second, but he got 8 attempts in both of these games. With 7 to 8 attempts, I think he's crushing this line. Looking at the season, when he attempts 7 to 8 threes, he's over this line in 61%, which is, I actually expected it to be more. But let's look at the 6 to 9 attempts from the field, then it's 56%. Yeah, but we are getting plus money. If we are expecting him to win 50% of the time and you get plus 114, that's a great bet long term. So yeah, definitely. They're definitely a fan of this one. But as a lean only because we already have a bet on Drew Holiday. And that's it, guys, for this game. Next game, I'll just say, this is absolutely amazing spot for DeAndre Ayton. And if you guys want to bet on DeAndre Ayton, I can stop you, but it's not for me. I don't ban players, but at this point, I'm staying away from Ayton no matter how great it looks. Why? Last time they played the Dallas, we had a bet on him. We bet over 11.5. 11.5 against Dallas Mavericks. And what he does, he scores 9 points. But he scored 9 on 14 from 16 from the field. 14 from 16. This guy is shooting usually 60% from the field. It's absolutely amazing. Look at the last couple of games. 4 from 5, 3 from 5, 6 from 6, 12 from 14, 4 from 4. He's shooting like 80% from the game since we bet this game. So since this game, he almost scored every single field goal attempt. And this game, he went 4 from 16. Let's look at the entire career. When he gets 15 to, let's say, 14 to 18 field goal attempts, he's over this line in 30 out of 33. And one of the losses came, of course, when we had a bet on him. So, guys, I will advise you, like, looking just the data, this is a good bet. But knowing the data is on DeAndre Ayton, feel free to do whatever you want from this, but I'm not betting it. Austin Reeves, 24 and a half. That looks a bit too high for me. Like, definitely out of minutes restriction, at least some. Last game against OKC, 29 minutes, so expecting 30 minutes tonight without Luka Doncic. So without Luka Doncic on the season, when he wasn't limited, just a second, when he wasn't on the heavy minute restriction, he's averaging 36 points a game. That looks amazing, but he stayed under against the OKC, and other games he played 39, 39, 40. So he's averaging 36 per 37 minutes. So that's a point per minute average. But LeBron was out in some of these games. And we take a look with LeBron. He had one game where he went completely nuts, 44 points against the Raptors. But then second games against the OKC, he was shy. We had an under on him. So we bet under 20 and a half, now 24 and a half. I'll pass. No read on LeBron James. Laravia and Smart, fuck those guys. And on the side of the Dallas, Cooper flag out, Anthony Davis trade, Najee Marshall questionable. But we have now Chris Middleton playing, Brandon Williams playing. So I don't know, guys. This one is, I don't know how to predict anything from this. Gafford against the Lakers. Earlier, he had 2 points in 60 minutes. No bet there. PJ Washington, I would target his rebounds, but against the Lakers last time, he had only 3 rebounds. And also Lakers allowed third least rebounds. So I don't know. I was leaning over, but then when knowing the matchup, probably best to stay away. Max Christie, very inconsistent guy. We can see that he has some games like 22 to 24, then 9 to 13. Like, how do you even like explain this? 10-10, then averaging 24 over 4 games span, then averaging 10 over 4 games span, then another 2 big games, then 5 points last game. So very unpredictable. Looking at the games against the Lakers, 13 points in limited minutes, then 24 points last game. Cover threes in every single game of these. Looking at the entire season when he gets expected minutes, which is definitely like 26 to 36. He's covering threes in 23 of 39. Lakers above average matchup, definitely. So if you take a look at the teams outside top 5, maybe even top 10, teams outside top 10 in threes allowed, he covered this in 67% of the game. So we'll definitely say my lean is Max Christie over threes, over 2.5 threes. You can even get -103, which is great price for this. So yeah, my lean, but 2 leans, 2 official bets on this small slate. I don't think we can do much more. I'll just quickly go to the one question I got asked on the last show, and that's from Bucket of Freddy's. I've already asked a similar question previous stream, but how do you suggest we go about acquiring ball knowledge and finding more niche spots to attack? For example, how should we find spots like secondary scorer versus Suns? I know watching film probably helps, but it's super time consuming. I don't have a good answer on this. Besides, it takes hours. It takes a lot of time to find something that can get you some money in return. Earning money in any field is always almost always time consuming, and sports betting is no different. Like, you need to put the hours and grind and able to win. If I return over the last 10 years, if I go back to over the last 10 years of my sports betting career, like I started this betting pro like 2016, so it's 2026. So it's been 10 years of watching NBA games, studying the data, and I probably do it like for this season maybe like 8 hours a day, but previous season probably 10 plus hours a day. So can you just look at like quick math, 10 years of 10 hours a day during the season. So that's probably like for 6 months of the season, which is 180 days. Let's say it's 200 days because to calculate easier. So 200 days of 10 years, that's 2000 days of studying, and then 10 hours a day makes it 20,000 hours of studying. to be the level of expert I am today. I mean, I did win back from the start, like year two. Well, I was already winner, so I've been winning for like 9 straight years. But back in the day, it didn't take much to win at sports betting, at betting these props because they were insanely soft. But every year they get much more difficult to beat, and every year I get better, and I get better just to keep up with it. So yeah, there's no shortcut. You just need to put time into it. You need to educate yourself on sports betting wise, and then depending on the sport you are betting, you need to understand like the key stuff. You don't need to be an expert on the sport, but you need to understand some key stuff. So when you look at the tool like PropsMadness, when it's a transition spot up, pick and roll ball handler, pick and roll man, at least to understand what those means and catch and shoot, the difference between catch and shoot and pull up. When teams are giving corner threes, what that this means for their defense. For example, if they're giving up corner threes and defending the rim well, probably means they are kind of either two things. Either they have great defensive big playing drop coverage and they are staying home on the guys, or they are horrible pay defense, so they collapse on the drives, so give out spot up, catch and shoot corner threes. So yeah, you need to understand like at least some level to understand what you're seeing on the tools like PropsMadness. And that's it, guys. Thank you for watching. As I said, we are 1 week off now. We are returning next week, next week when the NBA is back. Make sure to subscribe, hit that notification button, and see you after the All-Star break.